let me ask first and foremost that okay, I've not been able to have access to our emails to mind the previous meeting, so that's been a challenge. Secondly, let me also say that I think I've missed that. I can't remember. When I remember, then I would come back again. So I give the mic to HB to take charge.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. You are all welcome to tonight's session on Python programming. I will do a quick recap of what we discussed yesterday. Let me share my screen. All right, so yesterday we wrote a program, a very simple program to get our total score in a given subject. If you have your continuous assessment results as well as your score in the exam. We did that yesterday, and I will show us how we went about doing that. Then we will continue to develop that program further. I activated my PyCharm. I am doing that right away. It will bring a welcome screen with PyCharm written on it, and then it goes straight to the program we wrote yesterday. So yesterday we said that if you want users to be able to type anything on the keyboard and you want to know what they have typed, you will use this keyword called input. Okay, I'll create a new code here just to illustrate. New Python file, I'll call it revision 001. So I want users to type something on the keyboard, and I want to be able to keep track of what they have typed. What I would do is to say input. Now, this input from users will be stored somewhere. So that place where they will store it is a variable name. So I need to create that variable. And we said earlier that a variable is a location in the memory of the computer. So how do I create a variable? Let me call it name. And I'll say is equal to. So it's looking at it now to say, I have created a variable. Read one, you can mute your audio. Okay, read one, you can mute your audio, please. All right, so I have created a variable called fName. In fact, let me call it first name. And then I am getting an input into it. This input is going to get a message from me. So what message do I want my user? I'll put this apostrophe open and close in there, and I'll put my display message. The message I want my users to see. This is where I'll type it. So I'll come in here and say, what is your name? Please mute your audio. Please help us, admin, help us mute Redwan Alabi. All right, thanks. Okay, so when you put in the message like this, what is your name? This is the message that will be displayed on the screen when your users are making use of your program. And the rules that you need to follow are this. There should be apostrophe double at the beginning and at the end, and you can put your message inside. Keep it simple like this. Someone else may come and ask me, what if I want to compact IS with what? Like, what's your name? Like this. It is possible. I can write, what's your name? This way. But you must make sure that you use double quote at the beginning and double quote at the end so that you can write, what's your name? This way. So this statement, when you execute it, it will display this message on the screen, and whatever your users type in will be stored in this memory location called first name, or I can call it my name, just to make it easy. So if you want to see what is stored in my name, you type print my name. It will show you the content of that variable called my name. So let's run this file by clicking on that arrow. It says there is an error here, okay? It expects it to start from the beginning of the line. I have fixed it. I will run it again. It's asking, what's your name? My name is Ibrahim. And then it displays just that name. Now, because I'm typing in a text, I don't need to do anything extra. But yesterday, we were not playing with text. So what we did was we were playing with numbers. And that's why we said, if you put number 1 and you are dealing with an integer, you put int, and then you can put this one here. What's number 1? And then people will give you the figure. Then you can go ahead and put num2. It's an integer. We want people to send something in from the keyboard and say what's number 2. And our users will type it in for us. So what we did yesterday was to say num3 is equal to num1 plus num2. And then we printed the result of num3. So num1 is our midterm score over 30. Num2 is our exam score over 70. And our total score is num3, which is the addition of our midterm score to our exam score. And that's why we are displaying the total here. So this is a simple program that we wrote yesterday, and I can show you in exercise 2. This is it, even though we wrote it in a different style, but it's the same message. So you can display your result like this. So this is a revision of what we did yesterday. Tonight, I want us to take this program to the next level. So look at what I will do here. I will not call it num1 here. I will say midterm results. I'll call this one exam. I'll call this one total. So that total will be midterm plus exam. So it will be what's your midterm score? That will be the correct question. What's your exam score? That will be the correct question here. And then the result will be total score. I'm going to change this to total score. So this is a program that we have written. If we run it, it will work. Just check it. What's your midterm score? 28. What's your exam score? 64. It says 92. Now, we can write a simple program like this, but let us make the program more interactive. One area for doing that is in the way we display our result. Instead of just displaying 92, we should be able to display something like your midterm score is whatever it is, your exam score is whatever it is, and your total score is whatever the result is. Okay, so one option is to say midterm score and we'll do this. Print exam score we're using print command to display the message on screen. Total score is, yeah. Now, when you look at this and you run it, I will explain the structure. It's asking me for my midterm score again. I put 68, exam score 64. When you look at the result on my screen, it says midterm score is 28, exam score is 64, total score is 92. This is better than just displaying 92. People will not be able to make sense out of that. That's one method of displaying your results. Look at it again. Attention should be on the word print. Print is a keyword. So anytime you type print in Python, it's asking you what value do you want me to print. So the message that you want to print, you put it in this bracket. That is why I put this one there. Because I wanted to show this message, midterm score, and I want your results to be there. I put midterm after comma. So if you do the same thing, it will work for you. This is one way to display your results. Another way to display the results is this. I can go in here and say print a blank line. And then I can say print F total score don't let me use this. This may cause confusion. For now, let's keep it the way it is. I'll keep it this way. Let's use this simple method. So what I need you to do is to take note of the structure of my program. I have written a code in 6 lines that can get your midterm score by asking you this question, and it will store whatever you type into this variable called midterm. It will convert it to an integer. So you can see that I have 2 brackets here, closing because I opened 2 brackets, 1 and then 2. Then for exam, I also opened 2 brackets, 1 here, 2 here, and that's why we're closing with 2 brackets. So some people, to avoid mistakes, this is what they will do. They will have gone ahead to say exam is equal to int. Int already shows this, and then they'll put input. So this already puts the 2 brackets opening and the 2 brackets closing, and they will just come in and put their message and say, what's your exam score? And that's it. So you cannot make mistakes when you write your code this way. So after getting the two inputs, I need to do my process. So I created an empty line so that everything will be readable. I could have done this. My program will still work, even if I don't leave space between the lines, but it will look cluttered. So that's why I created space. Section 1 here is dealing with our input. Section 2 here is dealing with our processes. And section 3 here is dealing with our output. So to make it easier, I'll put this one there. Output, process, input. Just for correct, no, just to notify us and let us know what each section is all about. So if you run this project again or this code by clicking on this button at the top here, it will prompt you for your score in midterm 20. Let me score 30, 30. An exam, I scored 70. And it tells me my midterm is 30, my exam is 70, and my total score is 100. So that is a revision of what we did yesterday. Let us move on from that by showing us the second example, which is we are required to write a Python code to calculate our account balance after depositing 3 times. But before I do that, I will want you to do something for me. And that something is exercise 3. I want you to write a program in Python that will calculate the area of any given triangle. Just to help you out a bit, your program will ask for the length, it will ask for the breadth, and it will multiply the two values together and give us the area. And then you will display the area. Can you do this for me in 5 minutes? And then I will show you how to solve this problem. You have 5 minutes to do this for me. And then I'll watch you. Write a program to calculate the area of a rectangle of length L and breadth B. I can come back here and say new Python file. Call it exercise 003. So we want to do area of a rectangle, not triangle. So I want you to write a program in Python to calculate the area of a rectangle. You can ask me questions. I will help you out. I'm not going to write it until you show me what you have done. I'm just playing around here. Has anyone finished it? All right. Has anyone finished? If you run into any issue, please let me know. I'll be willing to support you. So our task in class tonight is to write a Python code to calculate the area of a triangle. So what I've done here is to decorate my code by putting some comments just for documentation's sake. So sometimes it's necessary. This one is saying purpose. What is the purpose of this code? Oh, this Python code calculates the area of a rectangle. Who wrote it? I put my name. On which date? I put today's date there. All of those things are for human use. Computer will not even think about this. Input, process, output, they are comments. Computer will not think about them. The part that the computer will think about, I am yet to write. So I'm waiting for you to help me. Maybe someone can tell me by dictating what I should be writing, and I will be able to judge if you know the logic or if you understand the logic from here. I don't want to call anyone. If you think you know what I should type, please tell me. Who wants to help me? Please help me. Please help me. Tell me what I should type.
Sir.
All right, Waris, go ahead. Thanks.
For the first line, you go for length.
Okay, I should say length.
Yes.
Length is what?
Is equals to inch
Okay.
brackets inch
Okay. Well done.
brackets. What's your length number?
Okay. What's the length of the rectangle? Right? Rectangle.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Yeah, this is lovely. Thanks. Bravo. Okay, what's the
Thank you,
next
sir.
thing that I need to do? Any other person? Thanks, Waris. Can someone tell me the next thing that I need to do? Now you have something to build on. Oh yeah, Abdul Wahid, I can see you want to talk. Or is it Miriam? If you're sure of yourself, just tell me what should I do next.
Sir.
Okay. What?
Enter the area of the triangle.
Ah, no, I cannot enter the area yet because we need two things to calculate the area. We need the
Enter the
length.
length.
Okay, so we have put
Enter the length of the triangle.
Okay, so we have put the length in line 6. What do we put in line 7?
Breadth.
Okay, so breadth is equal to what?
Area of the triangle.
Just calm down. Integer input. I will copy the structure of the previous one. What's the breadth of the rectangle? And once I do this, I have been able to get two things from my users, the length and the breadth. So if we run this program now, just to check, you can see on the lower side, it's asking me, what's the length of the rectangle? 10 centimeters. What's the breadth of the rectangle? 4 centimeters. And then it stops. It doesn't do anything because we have not told it what next to do. So can someone tell me what is the next thing that I will do under process. Please help me. Yeah, Miriam, I know you want to talk. Oh, yeah, tell me. What do I type? Yes. Yeah, David, you want to speak?
Okay, the process should now, process should now be defining what the area is, which will be area is equal to integer, then input area is equal to integer.
Okay.
Input,
Let me. Okay.
Yeah, input. Yeah, then in parentheses, length times breadth.
Okay. So if you do this, length,
I think.
breadth. Okay. So if you do this,
Times breadth.
it will not work. And I can show you.
Yeah.
I can show you why it will not work. Let's try it. If you run the program, it's asking me what's the length. I put 10. What's the breadth? I put 4. Then it's telling me length and breadth. You can see. So what you want to do.
I missed out. It should have been print, right?
Yeah, what you had in mind is this. You don't put any input here anymore. It will just be length times breadth. This is the formula.
Oh, okay.
This is the formula for finding the area, length times breadth. And it will calculate that area for us. So what do we now put in output? Can someone else tell me what we can put in output? Remember what we did in the previous screen when we were displaying our results. We put print the results. Okay.
That will now be print.
Okay.
Print area.
Okay, so I'll say area is equal to what? Area. But we want to print more than area. Okay. So we can say print length and then print breadth. So you can see that I put comma there after the apostrophe. And I put space so that it won't. Okay, let me remove the space. We will see the impact of this. Okay, so when we run this program now, let's see what it will tell us. What is the length of the triangle? 10 centimeter, breadth 4 centimeter, and it gives us the result. The length is 10, the breadth is 4, and the area will be 40. That is what you will get if you do the mathematics using your pen and paper. So this is a simple program that you can use to calculate the area of a rectangle if you get the length and the breadth from the users. It will calculate the results for you. Even if I change the numbers and I say area of a rectangle, give me length 12, breadth 9, it will still give me the results. The result now is 108 because that is 12 times 9. It will always be correct. The logic will always give you the correct answer as long as the formula is correct and the input is also correct. But let me mess up this program just for your illustration and you'll see how it can be done. If I run it again and it's asking me for the length and I say 12.7, you can see that the program starts returning an error. It says there is an error on line 6, and my line 6 is this one. When I put 12 there before, everything worked perfectly. But when I put 12.7, the program started telling me there is an error. So what has happened? What happened is that I put 12.7, which is a decimal number, and I wanted to store it as a whole number called int. And that is why the program said, no, 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 no. You cannot store a decimal input in an integer memory location. If you want to do that, you will need to change this logic. So let me copy this code. I have copied it. I will go and put it in another example. I'll call it example 004. I'll paste it here and I'll change just two things. So instead of putting int here, I'll put float. I'll put float here. Remember when we're talking about data type, I said float can take decimal numbers. Int can only take whole number, no fractional parts. So if we run this current file and I put 12.7, it will accept it. I can put 5.9 for my breadth, it will accept it. And I can see my result is 74.93. So for you, when you are writing this kind of program and you know your input can be whole number or decimal, it is better for you to use float rather than using int. Int will not accept decimal number, but float can accept whole number. So let's run this again. Even though it says float, I can put 10, 4. I'll still get my result, 40. So this is more versatile than the previous example, which we saw in example 3. So I need you to take note of this when you are writing code so that you don't write this kind of code. This is good, but it's not good enough because it will break if people run it with decimal number. But this is better because whether you use whole number or you use decimal number, this program will still work and you will be fine with it. So just as a recap, what I did was to create a comment. I call it input. The program will ignore it. In fact, at the beginning, I put some decorations. One, the first line is to indicate the purpose of this code. What is this code going to do? It's always good to write this out. Then you indicate who is the author, who is writing the code. Put your name there. Then let us know the date when you wrote the code. This is a very simple code of about 15 lines. Sometimes you may write several hundreds or thousands of lines, depending on the complexity of what you are doing. But let's keep going little by little. So after this early part, some people will even do some, shakara. And let me show you an example of what I mean. Under input, they will go in here and say, print, and then they will put asterisk like this. And then I'll copy this. And when they get to output, they will put this. So this is just to make the program look fanciful. It doesn't mean anything. So you can see it. Now it has put those asterisks there for me. Now it's asking me the questions, 10, 7, And before my results will come out, it will put the asterisk. So it breaks the flow of logic into multiple components. But I will advise you at this stage, don't bother your head with it. I'll show you the easier way to solve some of these challenges when we get there. But just for you to see that some people can do that and it works for them. So after the decoration part at the beginning, I created my input. I created a variable called length, and I was getting an input with this statement, and I converted it to float because it can be decimal, it can be whole number. And then we did the same thing for breadth. And then our logic is to multiply the two variables together and get the value of the third variable. So whatever we get after multiplying length with the breadth, we are storing it in area. And then in the last part, we are displaying the result for length, breadth, area. So this is a very simple program.
Are you in this class at all?
So I need you to now do something. Yes, sir.
You begin of downloading now. Finish it first.
David, you need to mute
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you clearly.
Is that Yolua?
All right, please mute your mic, David. All right, so this is like another example for you to look at. I need you to now do something for me. You are not writing length and breadth again. I need you to try this. Write a Python code. It will be my last example for you tonight. We'll work on it together and then I'll see how you can, make it more interesting by tomorrow. Or sorry, by Monday when we meet, not tomorrow. So I need you to write a Python code. It will calculate your account balance after you deposit 3 times and you made 1 withdrawal. In our analysis, just like I have on the screen, the logic should look like this. 1, you must have an opening balance. How much was in your account at the beginning? Excuse me. We need to know how much you had in your account. Then we need to get your first deposit. You add it to your opening balance. We need to get your second deposit. We'll add it to your account. We need to get your third deposit. We'll add it to your account. Then we need to know how much you are withdrawing. We will need to remove it from your total deposit to date, and then we will display the result to you as your closing balance. That is the way to go about doing this. So you will need 5 variables. Variable 1 will be your opening balance. Variable 2 will be your first deposit. Variable 3 will be your second deposit. Variable 4 will be your third deposit. Variable 5 will be your first and the only withdrawal. In fact, you need 6 variables. The last variable will be your closing balance. So can someone please guide me? We'll write it together, just like the way you guided me with the last example. I need you to guide me also with this one. So prepare your mind. Example 005. What do I do here? Someone should tell me. Okay, tell me. Okay, please, someone should tell me, what do I do? Everything cannot be zero. These are the 6 variables that we need. Opening balance, deposit 1, deposit 2, deposit 3, deposit, that's the end. Then withdrawal 1, and then our closing balance. So tell me, what do I do to get my inputs? I have given you the variables. Anybody? Feel free. If you make mistakes, I will be there to correct and guide you. So feel free to guide me too.
I think opening balance will be a float because it can have decimal. We need to put in a figure there.
Okay, so we'll
for
say
the
opening balance is a float, and then we want an input.
Yeah, input.
So we can just say opening balance to make it simple.
Okay.
Okay, so this is good. Thank you very much. What do we do next? Someone should tell me.
Pretty much the same thing for deposit 1, 2, 3, and withdrawal 1 as well.
All right.
That kind of a thing.
All
Just
right.
changing the names of
First,
yeah.
First deposit.
Deposit.
Okay. Then deposit 1 is done. Deposit 2. And I think we have withdrawal 1. All right. So we need to change all of this and say second deposit, third deposit, and this is first withdrawal. Do we agree with this?
Yes.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ilham and Ihsan. So
sorry, can I ask why you have the sorry, question?
Okay.
Question.
Go ahead.
Okay, why do you have the space before the, yeah, why do you have that space? Let's look at that opening balance, right? After
This
the
one.
float, the input, then put the opening balance.
It's
After
just
the
for
colon, why do you have a space
one.
before the
It's not necessary. Yeah, it's not necessary. I can remove
yes,
it.
that's okay.
Yeah, I can remove it. Okay, let me show you.
Just wanted to be sure.
Let me show you the effect of that space quickly. It's very important. Thanks a lot.
What space has an effect? Chabi, show us, please. Show us,
I'll
please.
show you. I'll show you the effect now. Look at this code. When I run it, I'll remove these ones. Okay, just leave them. In fact, I will remove them. Okay, so let's say we have this code and I say run and I click on this. Look at the cursor here where we have opening balance. You can see that it is blinking immediately after the colon. Okay, and that's because there is no space between colon and the apostrophe here. It will be different, just 1 minute. If it will be different if I put space here and I run it again and you come in here, you can see now that I have moved away from that colon. So you are likely not going to make any mistake because you can see the cursor blinking and I can put my opening balance 90 naira. Unlike before that my 90 was going to be exactly, okay, let me change it. Look at 90 now versus if I remove the space and I run it and I type 90. One is immediately after the colon. The other one has space between it and the colon. It's just for visual display. It does not change the accuracy of your program. But you know what? Let's keep it as we remove the space. And then I'll bring all the other guys back. I will remove the space that they had so that we are fine. So this will give us the input. In fact, some people will tell you, you don't need all of this, just for decoration. So these are your input elements. So what do we do from here? How do we process this input? We want to get our closing balance. How do we get this? Can someone tell me the closing balance logic? Anyone else apart from David? I know, okay, I have seen Miriam. Closing balance is opening balance plus deposit 1 plus deposit 2 plus deposit 3 minus withdrawal 1. Thank you very much, Miriam. All right, so I'll say closing. Oh, I don't have closing balance yet. Closing, I'll do it, please. Closing balance is equal to, according to Miriam, wahala. Opening balance plus deposit 1 plus deposit 2 plus deposit 3 minus withdrawal 1. Thank you very much. This is the correct logic. So my output will now be what? Can someone tell me what will my output look like based on what we have seen tonight? Emisi, can you help us with this? I've not heard your voice tonight. How are you doing? Shout out to you and your siblings. I'm sure you're fine. So who can help me with the output? What will I write here? Remember we said print. We will put our print message here. So we want to print opening balance is equal to comma opening balance. We want to print first deposit, okay, comma deposit 1. We want to print second deposit, deposit 2. I've made a mistake though. This is 2, yeah. Then the third one, we want to print third deposit. It can be small, it can be, I just want to be consistent with it. Okay. We say deposit 3. And then I want to do one effigy. You know what they call effigy? Effect. I'll put this there. And I'll say I want to print closing balance as closing balance. And that's all. So let's review the code from the beginning. In our input section, we created a variable called opening balance, and we prompted users to tell us their opening balance in the account. And
So
then
where is withdrawing? First withdrawal.
the first withdrawal is a, okay. Thank you very much. Because there is a withdrawal there, we didn't put it. So say print first withdrawal. Wow, some people are watching this closely. So the name is withdrawal 1. I'm very happy to get that feedback. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so we will go like this. So let's go back to the beginning. So we created a variable for opening balance, and then we got the message. And then users will type something in, we will convert it to decimal, and we'll store the value in opening balance. Then the computer will ask again, what's your first deposit? Whatever you type, it will convert it to decimal and keep it in deposit 1. And it will do the same up to withdrawal 1. Then it will apply this formula. Closing balance is your opening balance, whatever you had before, plus all the deposit minus the withdrawal, and then we will display the result. This logic is right for now. This is not the way banks process transactions, because I'll show you why shortly. And you see why this is not correct, technically. So let's run this program and check how it works. So I will run it. So it's asking me, how much is your opening balance? It's 100 Naira. My first deposit, I added 10 Naira. Then I put 20 Naira. Then I put 30 Naira. I want to withdraw 70 Naira. So let's check if it is correct. Let's check. So I had 100 Naira. I added 10 Naira. That is 110 Naira. Then I added another 20 Naira. That is 130 Naira. Then I added 30 Naira. That's 160 Naira. Then I withdrew 70 Naira. That will leave me with 90 Naira. So our closing balance is actually correct. So our program is working as expected, and it gave us our summary here. So, but you can see that after first withdrawal of 70, our opening balance just started coming. There is no separation between our last input and the results. So I can do the same thing I did here. I can copy this part and then I'll put it here. Okay, just for visual display. Now, let me tell you why I said this program may not be completely true. We'll run with the same set of input, but I will change something. 100 Naira is my opening balance. I put 10, I put 20, I put 30. Now, when I get to withdrawal, if I withdraw 180 Naira, what do you think will happen? It tells me that, oh, my closing balance will now be it will be 20 Naira, because I have 100 plus 10 plus 20 plus 30. That is 160 Naira. So there is no way I can have 160 in my account and then want to withdraw 180. It will create an imbalance. And that's why there is a deficit of 20 Naira. In banking, they call it overdraft, but it's not something that we should be discussing in your class. So typically, you should not be able to do this. In our class next week, I will show us how to handle this kind of logic so that you don't make this kind of mistake. Is this clear to all of us? Please confirm to me.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So I need you to now write your own code, and it will be your assignment you will show me next week. let me put the case on the screen. It's not going to be any of these ones because the next example is a little bit complicated. Yeah, this example is technical. I won't ask you for this. So let me see. This is also technical. Yes. I want you to work on this against next week. There are two ways of solving this problem, and I'll show you both methods next week. So I need you to write a Python code that will ask you for 5 numbers. Number 1, number 2, down to number 5. And then it will find the average of those numbers. And the way to find the average is it will first sum those numbers together. Whatever the result is, it will divide it by 5. So for sake of illustration, if you come into this environment, it will be, let's say x is your sum, it will be x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5. Okay. Then whatever you get from this, you will divide it by 5 because we have 5 numbers there. So this is what I want you to do for me against next week. So you can play around this during the weekend, but I'll give you time. You can get the video. We'll share the link after the class so that you can revise what we have done today. And then on Monday, by God's special grace, we will continue to build on this. So you can see writing simple program is very easy. Even writing complex program is also very easy once you understand the flow of logic. We have moved away from adding 2 numbers together to get a third one to adding multiple numbers together and doing subtraction to get a final result. And the complexity will keep growing at each level. And I'm sure you will gain deeper mastery of this. So if there are questions for me, I am available to take them now before we wrap it up for tonight. Questions from anyone? Abono, be on the standby to wrap up. Feel free to ask questions. Very soon you start writing more interactive programs. All right, in the absence of any question, I'll give the floor to our second facilitator to wrap up, and then we wish ourselves an amazing weekend ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure guys are like, oh, today is more tougher than yesterday. Or we say it is getting more interesting. We started from 3 lines of code to about 12 lines of I'm sure we're making progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really nice. I want to believe nobody is still struggling with PyCharm installation at this moment. I want to believe that.
I want to believe that as well.
Is there anybody on the call who is still struggling with getting PyCharm installed on their device? Anybody? Anybody?
Please feel free to say it. You don't need to be ashamed. Otherwise, the moment you miss the momentum, it will be difficult for you to catch up. I believe they are all fine.
I want to believe that. So
yeah.
For yesterday's session, how many of us completed yesterday's session? You tried it on your own several times, improved on the program. How many of us?
I did, but I didn't get it. but now I'll be better.
Okay, thank you, Isan. Thank you for that feedback. So this is a logic. I know many of us might have one or two things you are doing during the day. I want us to take time to ensure that we practice this as much as possible. It's very, very important. Take time to practice as much as possible. I think we need to find a way to send today's assignment to them. Is there a way we can reach out to all participants so that they get the assignment, what we have done the last session? Is there a way we can get that across to them?
It should be possible. It should be possible for us to send them the link so that they can watch the video of the previous sessions as well as tonight's session as well. Like tonight's session is being recorded on my laptop. As soon as I'm available, I'll upload it to G Drive. Okay. And then I'll put it in my Google Drive and we will see how we can share the link with them.
I think also at this point also we need to have a registration link where we can have your details, and also when you need to submit assignments, an email where you can also submit assignments, because we need to be tracking your progress. It's very, very important for us to track your progress so that we will know how we are making progress. I can see for today's session now, I don't know what happened. The number was quite lower than yesterday's session.
Okay, let me see who is not here. Mubarak is here, Missy and Coach. IK is new. Ibrahim Raji is there. We have Dell. We didn't have Dell yesterday.
Right. Mohammed are not here.
Yeah.
I think their network got.
Yeah, Mohammed and Ismail are not there.
What about this? The three siblings, are they there?
They are there. Missy, Peace, and Samuel. Yeah, they are on the call.
That's fine.
Yeah, Mohammed and Ismail are back online.
They complained that the network was really showing them shaky. Just MTN is messing up now. People should just leave MTN and just move to some other network. MTN is not doing well at all. So I think on this note, we can call it a day.
Okay, Olanrewaju Raji says, I can't download PyCharm. My computer is acting up. Oh my goodness. Okay, so reach out to me on this phone number afterwards, maybe tomorrow morning, and I'll be able to guide you.
That would be nice.
WhatsApp. On WhatsApp.
Yes, that would be nice. That would be nice. That would be very nice.
Thanks a lot. Enjoy your weekend. I see you on Monday. Bye-bye.